that when they vacated the premises,
there was an overwhelming smell of marijuana.
It's not true.
It still smells like marijuana, and it's been 6 months.
That's ludicrous.
it smelled from marijuana, which you were growing and smoking in that room.
He was not smoking it.
You don't want to appear to be stupid, do you? The defendant, you're her son, is that right?
Yes.
Were tenants of yours for a period of time, and are you alleging that when they vacated the premises, the damage that they did to the premises certainly exceeded the amount of money that they had deposited as security? You kept their security, and you claimed that they owe you additional money for the additional damage.
That's correct, Your Honor.
The defendants say that they did not cause any damage to the property. They are suing for the return of their security and some other nonsense about harassment and constructive eviction, which happens to be nonsense since they moved out voluntarily. When did they sign their initial lease with you?
It was in May of 2021 is when their initial lease began.
And what kind of premises is it?
It's a 3,100 square foot, 5-bedroom home.
Who lived there on the lease?
On the lease, it was Mary and Kenneth only.
The two people?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what rent were they paying in 2021?
Started at $2,850.
And what was the term of the lease?
I believe a year initially.
And was it renewed for a second year?
It was, ma'am.
And for a third year?
I believe the third year went into a month-to-month basis based on the monthly amount that was set in the second year.
Okay. Was there any rent increase at the second year?
From the first to the second year, there was.
There was. How much?
$2,850 to $3,000.
Okay. And then there came a time when you advised them that you were raising the rent.
Yes, ma'am.
And the defendants did not wish to pay that additional rent. It was too much. And they moved out. Tell me when you advised them that the rent was going to be increased. That's when you were on a month-to-month lease.
Yes.
That was around March that I advised Mary that I'd be increasing it 10% to $3,300.
And when did they advise you that they intended to leave?
And she took a few weeks, but got back to me and said they would be vacating the property.
And when were they supposed to vacate?
She came up with the date of April 14th.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And did they move out on the 14th of April?
They did. Prior to that, we did a walkthrough.
On what date?
I believe that was also on the 14th. They had moved all of their
Okay,
property
great.
out.
So you did a walkthrough on the 14th.
Yes.
And what did you find?
As we walked through it, I noticed some things that weren't overly concerning at the time. But once we went into the garage and the downstairs area near the garage, there was an overwhelming smell of marijuana.
Were they with you when you went to?
Mary was, yes.
And did you discuss it with her?
I did.
And what did she tell you?
Well, there was two parts, Your Honor. There was one part where they had tapped into a water main that comes into the house to provide the irrigation or the water to the marijuana, and the overwhelming smell. And Mary's response was, Kenneth smokes weed. But she denied anything about a marijuana grow. And based on 17 years in law enforcement, it was overwhelmingly apparent to me that it was a marijuana grow.
Okay, somebody was doing some gardening, right?
Yeah, I was, absolutely.
So I want you to describe to me the gardening that you were doing in the garage.
Well, as you said, it was cannabis cultivation.
Okay,
6
tell me
legal
about
plants.
Tell me about it. How many rows of marijuana plants did you have?
So it was a 3-car garage. The previous tenant framed out like about a 10 by 8 room inside that garage.
10 by 8.
Yeah, and I had a 4x4 tent inside of there with 6 plants.
Hold on. 4 by 4 tent.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, and it had 6 plants in it.
And how did you water them?
I did have the.
Just make sure you give me an answer.
I had a hose there, but I also didn't install that. That was a previous tenant.
That installed what?
The hose that he was referring to, the water line.
Ma'am, if I may?
Yes.
They offered to come and repair the piping that Kenneth had apparently done. I have text messages of him saying...
Oh, interesting. Mr. Peelman has text messages with regard to you saying that you will repair pipes.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about pipes. Stop! Speak.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything about pipes. I heard a hose. Did you, in fact, modify pipes that were in that
I
garage?
did not modify the pipes at all. I did make a hole, though, in this drywall.
To do what? Just a
For
second.
venting, to run a carbon filter. It filters out the air so you don't smell anything.
Just a second. Well, what did you have to go in through the wall for?
To exhaust the air out of the room.
I have pictures of all
Could
of
I
the...
see?
Yes, ma'am.
And the text messages, please.
Yes, ma'am. And if you would like to, Your Honor, I have the lease that they violated by cultivating the marijuana. It clearly says in my lease, no cultivation of marijuana.
I'd like to see it.
This is the lease.
I'd also like to add that the water line I was referring about, he had a water filter there that a previous tenant installed. It started leaking. I cut it out, made a repair.
Just a second. So the answer is you did, in fact, cut into a pipe.
Yes. Overall, living there, I cut into multiple pipes and made multiple corrections, and he was aware of everything I've done.
Just a second.
Here's a picture of the pipe that he's talking about.
I'll get to it in a second. I'm just getting past, what's your last name?
Miller.
Ms. Miller, I'm just getting past what your son told me, which was initially that he screwed a hose into an existing place in the garage for water. Well, that a lay person understands. As we proceed, we find out that he did, in fact, cut into pipe in the house. Whatever the pipes were, you cut into them.
Yeah, but...
Oh, so that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay. And they were water pipes. That's a yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Now we're getting somewhere. Text messages, when they refer to pipes, they were referring to water pipes that you did, in fact, cut into.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, this is from you, and this is on April 21st. Hey, Nick, Mary was saying the room in the garage smelled, which is where you were growing marijuana. I would like to come over and clean it, as well as paint it, if you don't mind. Well, that sort of acknowledges that you know and that you understood from your mother, who said to you it smelled down there, right?
No, I never smelled anything.
Mary was saying...
Because he said it smelled.
Is what you're telling me, Miss Miller, I want you to think very carefully about your answer to this. When you did a walkthrough with the plaintiff and you went to the garage, are you telling me that he did not say to you, this smells in here?
Initially, no.
You mean in the same day? The same day did he say to you, it smelled?
Okay.
That's a question and that's an answer. The same day that you did the walkthrough, did he say to you, it smelled?
Once he opened the room, he says, it smells like weed. And I said, really? I don't smell it.
Really?
I didn't. And
well,
then
just a second.
I said, I know my son kept his weed in there.
It's possible. I just want you to think about what you're saying to me and what common sense dictates, okay? So I want you to think about that, because you don't look like an unintelligent woman.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so that you open up a room, you're doing a walkthrough. The person with whom you're doing the walkthrough doesn't open up a door, and by this time, everything was out of the house. All of the marijuana plants were out of the house. They were all gone, correct?
Yes.
So I would assume there was no evidence of marijuana growing in there when you walked in, because he had taken out all of his plants. That would be true.
No, actually, because if you listen to what the plaintiff testified.
No, I don't want to hear what he testified. I'm asking you a question. Had your son removed the marijuana plants from the room?
Yes, but you're saying there was no evidence of it.
Well, other than the smell, what would be the evidence of it?
As he testified, his 17 years of detective work.
No. Mary, is that your first name?
Yes.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. You don't want to sound like an unintelligent woman. He did not open up the door where there was no other evidence of marijuana growing. He didn't say, oh my God, it smells like a skunk in here. Oh my God, it smells like the toilet backed up in here. Oh my God, it smells like somebody left their garbage here. He opened it up and said, according to you, this smells of marijuana in here. Now, unless he was like Johnny Carson's Karnak, what is it in this envelope? You know, what's the question? I see the old people actually understand that. Then he either had to be a soothsayer or it smelled from marijuana. Now, how do I know that it smelled from marijuana? I know it smelled from marijuana because your son said, my mother says the room smelled from marijuana, which means he knew about it. And do you want me to come over to not only clean it, which you should have done before, right?
Absolutely.
Before you left, which you didn't, because you say here, I'd like to come over and clean it and paint it, which you thought would take away the smell.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to help with the
that's
smell.
a yes, of course.
I was planning on using an ozone generator to take care of the
I don't
smell.
care whether you were planning on using something that they make on Pluto. Your text indicates that you realized that you should have cleaned the place and maybe painted it so that it didn't have the smell of marijuana.
Although what I did mean is she let me know that he believed it smelled like it. That's not what the text message reads the way you're explaining it, but what I meant is you said to my mom it smelled.
It said it smelled from marijuana, which you were growing and smoking in that room.
He was not smoking it in the room.
Oh, just outside.
That's correct, in the backyard.
Which is also a violation of the lease.
Okay.
Okay. It's right in your lease.
Did not see it.
Well, that's too bad, whether you saw it or not. It's right in your lease. Tenants shall not use the premises to plant, grow, cultivate, or sell marijuana. No smoking of any substance is allowed in the premises or common areas. Okay. Can I see what work you did in that room, which is really what you're complaining about?
Actually, the smell permeated throughout pretty much the entire downstairs. It still smells, Your Honor, to this day. I was just there 3-4 days ago, and it still smells like marijuana, and it's been 6 months.
You have new tenants in there now?
I do, ma'am.
Okay. And when did your tenants move in?
They actually moved in the day after they moved out, but I had to give them half a month for free because of the smell.
Your Honor,
What?
I would like to call my witness who walked through with me and Nick during this walkthrough that he's
I would
insinuating.
absolutely love to hear you witness. Let's
Absolutely.
be very careful. Come on up. Tell me your last name.
Kelly Chandler.
Miss Chandler, how do you know them?
That's my mother and my brother.
Oh, so your witness is your daughter.
Correct.
What were you doing in the house on April 14th?
I used to be a property manager, so my mom asked me to kind of do a walkthrough with her since I knew.
Walk through with her and the plaintiff?
Correct. So
Okay.
because
So she was with you when you did the walkthrough?
She was, Your Honor.
Great.
So we did the walkthrough, and I advised my mom prior to my knowledge, the batteries.
No, listen to me very carefully.
Okay.
Don't give me a whole Geschichte. I'm not interested.
Okay.
Is what you're going to tell me that there was no smell in the garage?
There was.
I want you to tell me, which they both acknowledge, by the way, and I want you to sort of remember what I just said.
Right.
He didn't open the door and say it smells like a skunk, urine, backed up sewer, like somebody vomited, or dirty socks. He said it smells badly from marijuana here. That was, you think, just a good guess? Listen, look at me. Do you understand? You don't want to appear to be stupid, do you? You think it was just a good guess?
No, but I will say, while I was there with the walkthrough with him, he did not mention anything of a smell while I was there.
Well, I want to tell you something. Your mother says that day, the 14th of April, whether you were present or not, the plaintiff said to your mother that it smells from marijuana here. What you're saying to me is, well, I was down there, I didn't smell it. Is that what you're... I just want to know exactly who my witness is. Is it your statement to me that when you did the walkthrough, you want me to believe that you smelled nothing in the garage?
What I personally...
Don't look down. Do you understand?
got you.
That's the problem. That's how you know. Camera catches that. Do you understand?
I did smell something in the garage, yes, but when I was there...
That's my question. Now,
The whole house?
what?
No.
I didn't ask you about the whole house. I asked you in the garage. What was it that you smelled? No, look at me.
Marijuana.
Okay, now you can sit down.
Okay.
But could
Don't.
I say something, please?
About what?
So what she is trying to say is we walked through the entire house and the entire garage, and he never mentioned once about
Who
it.
cares?
And then
Listen
he
to-
opened it later and smelled it. It was central to the garage.
Who cares?
So,
Madam, why are you making excuses for somebody who broke their lease? What do you mean, but?
No,
Who
listen.
allowed that to happen in their house? Whose witness says, I smelled marijuana when I went into the garage. That's what your daughter just said. You're not a duh, are you? Your witness just says that when she did the walkthrough with you, she smelled marijuana in the garage, despite the fact that there was no other physical evidence of marijuana because he had taken out all the stuff. Didn't you hear that? That's a yes or a no. Did you hear your witness?
I did hear
okay,
that. I'm
you
just
did.
adding to it.
I
that
didn't ask
he-
you to add anything. Okay, you violated the lease. Can I see the bills of what
And
you
Yes, ma'am.
spent?
can I say one more thing, too? To my understanding, when there is a violation of the lease, he has 3 days to let us know that we have violated the lease, and we can either fix that or we can move out. He has personally been in that house at least 6 times during our entire tenancy, never once mentioned the smell of weed, never once gave us, hey, you're violating the lease, don't do that.
Tell me, just a second. Tell me, Miss Miller, in the times that he visited the house, did he go to the garage?
Yes.
And when he went to the garage, was it during a time that your son was growing marijuana?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, I think I went in the garage one time in the 3 years that they lived there.
It's not true.
Your Honor, that's all one quote. The 5400 is for the heat treatment. It's a specialized treatment because I've used chemicals and the ozone thing that Kenneth was talking about. I've tried everything to get rid of the smell. So what they have to do now is a heat treatment where they actually heat the house up
But
to
I would like to
150
point out,
degrees.
someone's lived there for 6 months and he hasn't done anything, but it's so
I can't afford to
uninhabitable.
do it.
Just a second. You have a tenant there.
Currently, yes.
You have a tenant there. And how much was their security deposit that you kept?
How much of their security deposit?
How much was their security?
$3,000.
So if you have a quote of $5,000,
It's actually $7,800. It's a 3-part quote because of the treatment type that they have to do. They have to shut off the fire sprinklers and the ductwork.
And we lived there for 3 years and it was habitable during that time.
well, listen.
But he hasn't done anything in 6 months.
Listen to me. If you want to live a certain way and be surrounded by occasionally, even in the backyard. I mean, this is a house that looks like it's in a community. Where do you live?
California.
In California. And you're allowed to smoke marijuana outside in California, that I know, because I
Yeah, and
walk down
grow
the
6
street here.
plants.
Because I walk down the street here and I smell it. And these houses are pretty close together. So you grow marijuana. And I assume since you grow marijuana and don't sell it, but use it for your own use, that you smoke marijuana regularly.
I mean, not every day, but regularly, about once a week, on the weekends, you know?
You mean you only smoke marijuana on the weekends and you went through this elaborate system in the room to cultivate marijuana for your own use?
Myself. I like to know that I'm doing it organically. There's no pesticides or poison on when I'm intaking
For
of my
your
body.
recreational use occasion on the weekends,
Absolutely.
once a week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, do you know, okay. Okay, I've looked at this, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your counterclaim is for the return of your security deposit.
Yes.
That you're not getting. And
How
for
about the fact that
construction-
he refused us, he
And-
waived his right to have us fix the things that we said we were going to fix. Also, by law, once he waives his rights, he cannot charge us for him.
Just a second, I didn't see that he waived anything, madam.
On the text message that he gave you and the text message that I have as well, he says, no
take
worries,
care of it."
I'll take care of it.
No. He said he didn't want your son to do it. You're not a plumber, are you?
Yes, he
I
is.
am.
Really, you're a licensed plumber?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you know that?
I did, and I saw the work that he did, and I wasn't wanting to use his services.
That's your choice. Interesting. You let the owner of the house determine what's best for eliminating a problem that you created. But the text message, madam, that you're referring to merely says, I don't want you to do this. I'll take care of it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to come back and charge you for it, but I don't want you back in the house to deal with my house. Now, you have $3,000 of her money.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm awarding you an extra $2,000 to finish the job for $5,000. If you can do it, great. I would suggest you do it. That's it. We're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Obviously, I'm disappointed.
I thought it was a fair decision.
There's just 6 plants. There's a 4x4 tent. There's a pretty small grow relatively. I mean, he likes to act like it was a commercial grow operation, and that's just simply not true.
I think there was some lease violations. They may have not known that they were violating, but at the end of the day, I'm glad it's over.
You know, she made her decision, and I'm ready to move on, to be honest.
No more grow rooms for sure.
Tutorial for everybody about reading your lease.
I was just thinking that.
Right.
Because in California, there's nothing wrong if you want to grow 6 marijuana plants, but do it in either somewhere that you own or somewhere that you know word for word, cover
No,
to
you
cover
could
of
do
your
it
lease.
if you could, if it's not illegal in the jurisdiction where you live, that's one thing. But if you sign a contract and you say in your contract that you're prohibited from growing or cultivating, and it's specific.
Yeah.
It's
I
specific.
think people have gotten entitled since it's been legalized in their thinking that, oh, well, it's legal, so I can do it. Or it's legal, so there are no rules of where, when, why, how. You know, but there are private parties like the plaintiff who, for whatever reason, he's allowed to
Whatever it
decide
is.
that he doesn't want any marijuana being smoked, grown anything in his
You can have,
property.
there are signs all over the place. This is a smoke-free premises, whether it's in a hotel.
I think
which
all of
you've
Beverly Hills
Which-
is a smoke-free premises.
Well, not for marijuana, because there are people that walk
No.
all over smoking
There are.
marijuana.
I'll show you the sticker next time. There, it's all around. I'll show you.
Yeah, well,
So
read your contract.
Yeah.
Read it. You are responsible for your contract. And I quite frankly do not buy the fact that you cultivate a room full of marijuana plants because occasionally on the weekend you want to smoke weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
All right, this case right here, this is one of those moments where you watch someone in court and you just sit back and say, seriously, man, what did you think was going to happen? Let me explain. So, the landlord, Nicholas Peelman, is suing his former tenants, Mary Miller and her son, Kenneth Chandler. They lived in this big 5-bedroom house for about 3 years. Everything seemed fine until the landlord raises the rent to $3,300 a month. The tenants say, nope, that's too expensive, and they decide to move out. Now, normally, that's where the story ends. But when the landlord does the final walkthrough, he opens a room in the garage and suddenly, boom! According to him, the place smells like straight marijuana grow operation. Not a little smell, not maybe someone smoked here once. He says it smelled like a full cannabis grow room. And honestly, the judge looks at them like, you don't want to look stupid here, do you? Because here's the crazy part. The son literally admits in court, yeah, I was growing marijuana in the garage. Seriously? He says he had a 4x4 grow tent with 6 cannabis plants. And not only that, he cut into the house's water pipes to run water to the plants. He drilled through the wall to run ventilation, installed a carbon filter, basically turned the garage into a mini grow room. And he's standing there like it's totally normal. Now here's the problem. Even if marijuana might be legal in some places, the lease clearly said, no growing marijuana, no smoking on the property. So the judge looks at him like, you signed the contract and then you ignored it. And then the texts come out. This is where it gets even worse. The son sends the landlord a message saying, hey, I can come back and clean the room and paint it. Wait, why are you offering to clean and repaint a room if nothing happened? Exactly. The judge basically says, that message proves you knew the room smelled like marijuana. And the landlord says the smell was so strong it spread through the entire downstairs of the house. He even says 6 months later, it still smells like weed. Now, I don't know about you, but if someone tells me a house smells like marijuana 6 months later, I'm thinking, that's not just weekend smoking, that's a grow operation. And then the son tries to defend himself by saying something wild. He says he only smokes marijuana once a week on the weekends. The judge literally looks at him and basically says, you built an entire grow room for weekend use? Seriously? Who installs pipes, ventilation, and a grow tent just to smoke a little weed on Saturday? That story didn't convince anyone. Now, the tenants tried to countersue to get their $3,000 security deposit back. But that was never going to work, because the judge says clearly, you violated the lease. You altered the plumbing. You created the smell problem. That's on you. So the landlord keeps the $3,000 deposit, and the judge even awards him another $2,000. Total, $5,000 judgment for the landlord. And honestly, the biggest lesson from this case is simple. Just because something is legal in your state doesn't mean you can do it in someone else's property. If your lease says, no smoking, no cultivation, then guess what? You follow the lease, or you pay the price in court. And if you enjoy real courtroom breakdowns like this, make sure to support the channel, like the video, and subscribe for more courtroom drama.